Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on inside to a fresh week of Weekday Wake and Bakes. I am your host, super pumped to bring you a motivational Monday episode of the show to pump up the Roll Gangsters and myself to tackle this week of adversity and fun. So, really excited to share these motivational quotes. First motivational Monday of it's the second motivational Monday of 2023, but I am super excited to bring them to you. A jam-packed episode of motivational quotes to get us super pumped for this week. Shout out to the Roll Gangsters tuning in live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You guys are all the shit. Good morning to ya. I'm going to go ahead and roll up quick shout outs to the sponsors of the show this morning before we get on into the Motivational Monday quotes of the week. And it's going to finish up with the Canna quote of the week. Cannabis-centric motivational quote written specifically for the Weekday Wake and Bake by your host, Processor Sky. But before I get on into the motivational quotes, content, and as I roll up my Wake and Bake this morning, a joint of Gorilla Glue, if you guys wouldn't mind just telling me in the comments what you're smoking on this morning, hopefully a bong rip of some fire or a blunt joint of some absolute pressure. It'd be great to smoke one with you guys this morning, know what you guys are smoking. But major shout out to the sponsors. First and foremost, WWnB University, my proud alma mater and the first ever cannabis college. The place to go to claim your stake in this budding industry. If you're looking to learn how to grow some fire in your very own home or start your very own cannabis business, look no further than WWnB University, the first ever cannabis college. For 15 years, WWnB has been educating cannabis professionals on how to become a part of this industry because it sure is on the rise. So if you're looking to be like one of us and become an WWnB alumnus, learn a lot about this unbelievable magical plant, then go to WWnB University, use promo code Rolling Spoon for 10% off your cannabis industry education, and you take full advantage of that Rolling Spoon scholarship. And speaking of the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, this episode is always brought to you by the tool helping me to roll a dime every time on every episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. About 9:05 a.m., I use my rolling spoon to roll up an absolute dime with you guys because I don't fuck with smoking anything but dimes. I use my spoon to evenly distribute my herb throughout my paper from my grinder, and then a bunch of the other tools associated with the rolling spoon to help me roll up the rest of the way. The poker, straight edge, joint locking mechanism, you name it. My beautiful WWnB rolling spoon. Shout out WWnB and the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. So without further ado, I'm going to finish up rolling this joint so that we can spark up and get on into these motivational quotes. After all, it is Motivational Monday. If this is the first time you're ever tuning into a Weekday Wake and Bake, we go live every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. Some cannabis content and some smoke because, after all, it's stoner law. If we have a woke, we must have a smoke. So super fucking excited to smoke up this joint of Gorilla Glue with you guys this morning. A lot of people don't think Gorilla Glue is such a great wake and bake strain, but I love it because of its caryophyllene dominance. Help the blood flow get going in this beautiful Monday morning. Lick it, stick it, Seal the deal, roll gang. Let's go ahead and use my poker. Poke down the top. Can use my straight edge to collect all the rest of the weed. I'm going to put it back in my grinder. But anyways, super fucking pumped to dive into the first motivational quote on this Motivational Monday, coming from David Dweck. I haven't heard of David Dweck, but a pretty fire motivational quote for this Motivational Monday. He says, Mondays are the start of the work week, which offer new beginnings 52 times a year. Mondays are the start of the work week, which offer new beginnings 52 times a year. I thought this was a perfect Motivational Monday quote, not only because it mentions Monday, but because it mentions the new beginnings that come with every week. That's why we do Motivational Monday, so we can get motivated and have some clean energy going into this week. It's not just the new year that offers new beginnings. Try to tackle each week individually, 52 Monday opportunities. That's what we'll call them, Monday opportunities, which is an opportunity to direct yourself and motivate yourself for the week. Every Monday is a blessing. People don't like Mondays because it's the start of the work week, but it's a new start, and there's nothing like a new start. Mondays are the start of a work week, which offer new beginnings 52 times a year. Banger quote by David Dweck, first of the show here on this Motivational Monday. The next motivational quote comes from Marcus Aurelius, who, this one's a banger too. Ooh, tastes feisty. This Wake and Bake. Wow, absolutely loving this perfect dime. Rolled by my very own Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. So Marcus Aurelius says, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to love. That's a beautiful quote from this Marcus Aurelius. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, and to love. And honestly, Roll Gang, that's why I love doing this show with you, because it's such a nice time every morning, such a blessing to have awoke, have a fresh day. Gotta have a smoke, because that's stoner law. But I love doing it together. You know, every morning is a great opportunity to be thankful for the ability to enjoy another day in this beautiful life. It's kind of magical. Like, all of a sudden we die at night, and then boom, we open our eyes and reawake, and we're back into the world. Such a blessing and a privilege to be alive, to think, and to love. A great quote from Marcus Aurelius. So the third motivational quote is from one of the greatest and most famous artists of all time, Pablo Picasso. But before I get on into it, major shout out to everybody tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You are a blessing, says my Graham. Shout out. That's the love of the show. The comment, the love of the show. Shout out my Graham Roz Sky on this episode of the show. Great friend of the show. If you guys haven't checked it out, we shot a banger episode, Grammy and I, in California. Go listen to the joke she told on the Wake and Bake. An absolute hysterical joke from my Grammy. So Pablo Picasso says, inspiration does exist, but it must find you working. Motivation does exist, but that baby better find you hustling. You know what I mean? if you're trying to get inspired, it isn't any way to get inspired by being lazy. You kind of have to find a goal, act, and then you can kind of maneuver and find inspiration in different ways. But you're not going to find inspiration if you're not working. You know what I mean? It does exist, says Pablo Picasso, but it better find you working. Coming from one of the most inspiring artists of all time. So hustle, Roll Gang. What else is there to do? That's the point of the Motivational Monday. Get our hustle going. There's no other point. All these quotes basically say, act. Inspiration does exist, but it must find you working, from Pablo Picasso. So last but certainly not least on this Motivational Monday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake is your Canna quote of the week from your Processor Sky. I like to write my very own quote for you guys that kind of twirls cannabis, the world of cannabis, in with a motivational quote. But before I read that one off, major shout out to the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, helping me roll a dime every time, and Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college. Use promo code Rolling Spoon to get 10% off your tuition at Oaksterdam. Learn how to grow in your very own house. So the Canna quote of the week goes a little bit like this. Not too chunky, not too fine. Find the balance of your grind. Just like weed, you know what I mean? Whenever you grind up your herb to roll it up, smoke a bowl, you don't want it to be too fine, too powdery, dry. You don't want it to be too chunky, too wet, leafy. It needs to have balance. And balance just happened to be the key to life, as well as smoking great herb. You know what I mean? Find the balance to your grind. Just like with our beloved plant, not too fine, not too chunky. Not too chunky, not too fine. Find the balance of your grind. And your cannabis quote on this Motivational Monday from your Processor Sky. Absolutely love hopping on and sharing some motivational quotes, getting all hyped up for this week. Gotta go and fight this adversity and tackle the life ahead of us. Don't get too lost in the past. Don't get too caught up in the future. The balance is right now. Hanging in the balance of the past and the future is this moment. So let's capture it. Let's have a great week. Let's smoke some weed. Make tiny 1% a day style advancements and keep chucking on forward. But either way, I will be with you guys 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, every weekday morning. Weekday Wakin' Bacon with the Roll Gangsters. Mwah. Absolutely love you guys. Shout out to everybody tuning in. You guys are all the shit. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I will see you tomorrow morning for another Strain Review Tuesday, Terpene Tuesday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. Mwah. Love you, Roll Gang.